Good morning everybody, or good night, good evening, good afternoon, online anyway. Thank you for tuning in to our 3D Cloudcamp Benelux 2021. My name is Orlando Sardaro from Design8. Design8 has been a SketchUp Pro distributor for the Benelux region for almost 20 years now. And you are watching our 3D Cloudcamp. It is the online version of an in-person event that we have been organizing for 4 years now. We've done 2 sessions. It's called 3D Basecamp Benelux, and we did it in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. I hope you visited those 2. Because of the pandemic, we are hosting our 3rd edition online. And I agree with you, I know I don't like online sessions that much. They're dull. They're boring, I get distracted, I cannot concentrate. It's not the same. But is that even true? Isn't it also true that we are able to binge watch our favorite Netflix series night by night on our couches? So, is watching a screen dull or fun? And that is why we hope to entertain you with this online session by hosting the 3D Cloudcamp as a live television show. I'm live, the guests in the studio are live. You can chat your live questions in the box and we'll hope to answer them live as we go. This is live as live can be. A few household tips. We are hosting this session via GoToWebinar. And GoToWebinar shows a small palette on your screen in which you can find a questions panel. Please use that panel to ask your questions. If the question is for a specific person, please state the name and we do our best to answer them straight away and maybe even live. We are hosting 4 sessions spread over 2 days. This morning we'll host 2 sessions. And tomorrow we'll host 2 sessions. The next session after this one is about a very important part of SketchUp, visualizing your 3D design in SketchUp. Tomorrow we'll kick off with architecture session. And we'll finish off tomorrow with a session about BIM. But today we start with a field where SketchUp is being used more and more past years, interior design. Now each session is about an hour and will be ended by a live, fun, online quiz in Kahoot. And I really encourage you to participate in the online quiz. Just grab your smartphone or any screen with a browser and internet. At the end of each session, we'll do 5 questions and the top 3 people can win fantastic prizes. So let's get on with it. Let's start with the interior session. To the left of me, for you for the right probably, I have in the studio Maartje Berkelmans. Maartje is owner of the Zonnekamer and she's an interior designer. Maartje, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, my name is Maartje Berkelmans and I'm an interior designer. And I'm doing like projects renovation projects or styling projects or just making new layouts for people. And yeah.
And all in SketchUp?
All in SketchUp, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Next to Maartje is Maarten. That is a coincidence, by the way. Maarten Laout is owner of Maarten Laout Architecture and is the panelist and sidekick for today. Maarten, can you introduce yourself briefly?
It's nice to be a sidekick. I've been an architect for over 25 years. The last 5 years I have my own practice, just north of Amsterdam. And I use SketchUp in several projects ranging from small scale to larger scale master plan situations. And also I teach SketchUp. I give training to small group sessions. I'm not an interior designer, but I do design interiors and furniture because I think it comes with the trait of being an architect, that your projects range from using furniture till the larger scale of
the whole of the project.
The whole of the project,
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. So it's great to have you both here. We have invited you to the Shapes Experience Center, and it's a beautiful place to be. We'll now start a small introduction movie for you at home and you to know what the Shapes Experience Center is all about. Ben, take it away.
Welcome in our Shapes Experience Center located at the Woonindustrie in Nieuwegein, the Netherlands. Shapes is an initiative of Red Interior and Astrimax with cooperation of several strategic partners. Together they form the partner for the interior professional in the areas of decorative materials, ceilings, walls and floors. This way we want to support the design process and the choice of materials by showing and advising them from one source, Shapes Experience Center. Shapes brings together more than 20 international brands, independent suppliers and special production companies under one roof. Due to this unique and very broad combination of manufacturers, suppliers and production companies, we can offer optimal support during the design and realization process of interior projects. Direct, custom-made solutions to give your project a unique identity. Don't be limited to standard product solutions. Shapes can help you with 3D milling, acoustic perforation, digital print, customizing ceiling panels in any shape or color, design furniture and more. Shapes can be used in several ways. Get inspired and informed about the numerous possibilities in ceiling, wall, floor and decorative panel material for your interior project by visiting our center or website shapes.nl. In addition to our Experience Center, you can always visit our online channels for inspiration or discuss questions you may have with the Shapes Oracles. We can offer optimal support during the realization and designing process, unburdening during project realization.
Okay, I really hope you enjoyed that. It's a beautiful place to be. Maartje, did you ever hear of Shapes Experience Center?
Yes, I've been there before, but at a previous location. But this one is really impressive. It's really, really nice. And I also think that it's nice that you can really see and feel the material with which you want to work, because it's always different from like a little picture on your screen or on paper. So it's nice to have a real good feel, touch with the material. Yeah, it's nice to have it here. Yeah.
Maarten, have you ever been here?
No, I've never been here. I'm a bit surprised by the scale of it. It's very large. It's like a shopping mall with a shop-in-shop kind of feel to it. I come to Broeinest a lot, but I've never been here. No.
Broeinest is in Amsterdam?
Amsterdam, Utrecht, Rotterdam, different places, yes.
Okay.
Eindhoven.
Okay. Maartje, you did a presentation on your work, and
yes.
I would suggest that we go and have a look about what you do in SketchUp.
Hi, my name is Maartje Berkelmans and I'm an interior designer. So for 10 years now I'm designing interior projects as well as exterior projects. And I started my own design studio that's called the Zonnekamer, and it's based in Soest. So about 10 years ago, when I left school, I started my own company, and for now I'm doing, for example, renovation projects. I'm designing new layouts for new houses in new housing estates, or I'm doing styling projects where the atmosphere and color and the materials are more important. So it's quite diverse. And for all these projects, I use SketchUp. So about 10 years ago, when I was at school, or before, about 15 years ago, when I was at school, there was a really shift going on from 2D designing, like people, they were drawing an AutoCAD or a CAD program, or with a pen and just a piece of paper. But then the SketchUp was just coming along, and we as students, we were just playing around with this 3D program, and we all liked it a lot because it gave a very quick sense of space and what is possible in a space. So that's when I started to use SketchUp. And when I started my own company, I just kept on using SketchUp. So for now, I want to show you some tips and tricks that I use, and are just easy tools within SketchUp. Tips and tricks in SketchUp. So when I start drawing in SketchUp, I of course always first open the document, but I made my own template. So I opened my own template, and within this template I've made all different kinds of scenes, tabs, and it helps me to work in an efficient manner. And the way I set up this template, I did it with the help of the SketchUp workflow from Michael Brightman. And all kinds of tricks, features are built in this template. So I will show you now. So here are my templates, and I open this one. So above, you can all see these different tabs. These are all different scenes with their own settings. So of course, when I start drawing, I like to use the setting with the axis visible. So for example, I'm going to draw a cube. It's easy to do it just like this, so you know that you're drawing in the right way and with use or help of the axis. But for example, when I want to show my design to my clients and I want like a clear picture, I don't want to show the axis because it's just disturbing. So that's when I will choose another scene with other settings, and you see right now that the axes are gone, and you just have a nice clear view of the design. But sometimes, of course, you make a little mistake and you don't know where did I make this mistake. So, for example, you made a cube, you think you made a cube, but somehow the line is a little bit off. So it looks like straight lines, but of course it isn't. So then when I use this scene setting, it's axis check, immediately you will see that and the line that is not in line with the axis, the edge is colored black. So this is a really nice tool, and you can simply fix it and go on with your design. Also, an important feature is the orient faces. So you see in this scene all the faces are colored bright pink. But when you reverse a face, I will reverse it right now, and you will see, oh, reverse, yes, and you will see that the face has a different color, because this is the back side of the face instead of the front side of the face, which is important also when you want to render. So these are some tips and tricks that I use. But then, of course, when I build my model, I'm going to save it and to import it into the layout drawing program of SketchUp. So I'm going to show you now. So Also, when I start using layouts, I will always use my own templates. So I will show you now. This is my templates for the layout program. As you can see, it's already set with the right font size. And also you can import your logo, and it's already like I said, this is like A3 paper size, which I like to use because when you want to work with all these measures, it just takes up a lot of room space of your paper size. So this way you don't have to do it every time you use it. You don't have to do it over again. So here I have an example of a project of a big attic floor just near Amsterdam, and it needed like a total renovation. It was one open space, but people that lived there, it was a family, and they wanted like a big playground for their kids. So I designed 2 bedrooms for the children and a bathroom for the children, and downstairs was an extension for another bathroom for the parents. But let's start. Here I will show you how I work. So I use a template that I just showed you in layout. And as you see, I can just give a quick sense of the layout with all the most important measures. And then I will show you that you can also use nice colors and materials in SketchUp, and without rendering have a very nice result. So as you see here, these are visualizations of the bedrooms of the children. They can just crawl through the cupboards. Here are the cupboards. It's just a separating part. They can just crawl through here to each other. So these are all images with a lot of color and material, and it gives you a good sense of the atmosphere that you want to reach. So this is, for example, the room of the little one. So you see, it really gives a good feel. I would also want to show you the panorama view of the rooms of the boys. I made it for them because they could use the VR glasses, and they were very, very happy to just have a look around in the new room. So I will show it to you now. So for this panorama view, I used Podium, and this, for example, is a 3D moving image of one of the rooms of the children. So you can see, you also can use a lighting. I've drawn a climbing wall, and here is a hole to the other one, the other room of the other boy. So this is the other room. So you can see it really gives a good idea of how this room will be when it's finished, with here the hole to the other one. So you see, when you use SketchUp and you use a presentation, presentation software for layout, you can really show all kinds of different images, mood boards, visuals, and also a movie. So what I also do a lot is making mood boards and accessories, and finding the right products for the rooms and wallpapers and so on, so that the clients can easily find and make the atmosphere that we have created. So the next project I want to show you is a concept design. So the one I just showed you was with already a lot of colors and materials. in it, and you're a bit further into the process. But of course, when you start drawing and designing, you first start with some concepts. And this, again, for this one, I will show you my layout documents. So this is a kennel house in Amsterdam. Again, it's with a family with 2 children. In this kennel house, they want a big kitchen, they want 2 bedrooms for the children, and they want a study. So I started with an open space, and you see as I go along here, these are the concepts. This is option 1. It's all still in black and white, because it's just not as concrete yet. So of course, again, the layout with the most important measurements. A big kitchen, a study, separated by the kitchen with steel and glass doors. A lot of cupboards, space, and above on the first floor is like a mezzanine. You have these rooms for the children. The other option, we'll go to it now, is with the study upstairs, and downstairs are the children's rooms. So then I present this to the customer, and they can choose what will we do, and they choose one concept, and that's when I am going to make this more detailed. So, for example, these people, they chose a concept with the children bedrooms upstairs and a study downstairs. So then I made new drawings, but also the contractor, he needs to know what do I need to prepare and for this build. For example, for the steel doors, the glass doors, but also where to put the air conditioning, electricity, and so on. So I want to show you that also these kinds of drawings you can easily make with layouts. And I will open this version of the drawings right now for you. So these are the drawings that I made for the contractor. And usually when you make drawings for the contractor, first they want to know what's the current situation, and then they want to know what's going to be new. So here I make like the floor plan of the current situation, and you can see that it has all hatches already in the drawing, and measurements, and also here all the cross sections that I made. So this is pretty detailed, and the contractor just get a good image of the situation right now. Then, of course, I will show the drawings of the new situation. This is the new design. Again, all with hatches and cross sections. Also, the place where the lighting will be, all the lighting fixtures, the beams are where the beams are, and for example here where the light fixtures will be, but also the air conditioning, for example, it's placed here above here. And so the contractor, he sees exactly what he needs to buy, how much he needs to buy of this, how much material he will use, needs. So all the most important details, placements are visible with these drawings. So also here, for example, the water drain of the air conditioning, all the beams, where the light, where the fixtures, the spots will be, and so on. The skylights also. So all these technical specs you can also use or visualize very well with the layout SketchUp software. For example, here, what do I need to prepare to install a steel staircase, or to install a steel door with a rail where the door will run on. So it's really good software to use. Another project I'm working on right now is people who are going to move. They bought a new house and they want a really big kitchen because they're real foodies. And they have this huge wine cabinet which needs to be in the kitchen. And also they want this study next to the kitchen. Well, when they asked me to design the kitchen, they told me, I don't think the wine cabinet can be in the kitchen. Let's place it into the study. But I'm not sure if they will be working very hard with this wine cabinet in the study. But anyway, I told them I think we can also just place this cabinet in the kitchen. So I made a design, and I also made a little movie to show them how it will feel in the kitchen when the design is finished. So for these people, I made a little movie. I made it in Podium, so they will have a feel how it will be in the new kitchen / study. So this is one design I did. All black accent wall and a study with all built-in covers and some steel doors. The other one I made is this one with tiles as accent wall, green, and a different design for the studio. So this is also what I do a lot. We will go around into the model, just turning it and orbiting, and then I can also show the client what is happening in the model, and sometimes make some changes while I'm at it and showing the design. So this is the panorama viewer from Podium, and it's here all the panoramas are collected, and you can just click on it and view the panoramas. So I made this little tour. You can just turn around. All the lighting is already in there. Then you can just click and go to another space. This is the study. So this is also very nice for the customers, and so they have a little tour in their new home. So all this is possible with Podium. Another project I would like to show you is exterior as well as an interior project. So this is a little farmhouse, and the owners wanted to connect it with a shed. So the shed is over here. And for this project I made an extension of the house like this. So now it's possible to make a really big kitchen. Before, this was the living area and there was a small kitchen over here. But for now, or for the new design, it's like really big kitchen, and then the connection with all the glass and steel windows to the shed. And in this shed now is a living room and also a small study. Here you see that it's also that also SketchUp is easy to use for these kinds of drawings. Here are some views, like visuals that I put into my presentation. But what also is also nice that when you are doing a project like this for interior and exterior, you want to show how these buildings are connected. Often it is also with a garden and all lines and designs what happens just outside the building. Just for example, you can see it here with the pergola, and that's very nice of SketchUp that is also all this vegetation is available, so you can use it and just make a nice whole of like the inside and outside of the projects. So for example here there is a nice floating terrace with plants in water, and it's so you can just make an overview of the design but also make detailed drawings, so very helpful. Here, for example, a layout with all the measurements, most important measurements. So the contractor, when the contractor sees this and they say, we want to go with this option or the other option, then then they also can see, oh, we have to order this, we have to order that, all these kinds of materials, so it's easier to make a price. So you see that you can also visualize a garden and connection inside, outside materials. It's all possible with SketchUp. So this was my presentation and I hope you enjoyed it. And any questions, just let us know through the live chat. Thank you. Hi, my name is
I'm
Maartje.
Pretty impressed. You're a pretty productive lady.
Well,
lots of projects. The first thing that pops into my mind is how much time does it cost to do these projects?
Well, it takes a lot of time, of course, to make such a nice product in the end with for example, the bookwork that I always
you're also printing it out?
Yeah, I'm printing it out on in a layout format. Then it's you get a nice presentation document. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you mentioned working with templates in your presentation. Mm-hmm. Can you tell a bit more about how do you arrange the lighting in these templates and how do you create a template?
The way I created the template is with help of Brightman. It's a book which I use to organize my model in a efficient way.
Question from the audience. What is the name of the book again?
The writer is Michael Brightman, and I think it's called SketchUp Workflow. And he's an American architect, and he has really put his mind to making this SketchUp model work in quite a lot of different useful ways. So not just drawing, but also creating some kinds of tools within the SketchUp software. Yeah.
And templates, how do you create those?
The templates, then I just made different scenes with different settings. So for each setting I can use a different scene. So that's what I did. Yeah.
Okay. And you save it as a template to read.
Yeah, I save it as a template, so every time when I use it again, I don't have to make everything again. It's
that's easy.
For the beginning, yeah.
And so you're using extensively layout. Maarten,
yes.
Is layout something that you use in your work?
Yes, I think in your presentation you had this boys' bedroom project, very nice. And there you clearly state the difference between SketchUp and layout. And I think I would encourage the use of layout very much to everybody that is viewing this, because I come across people that never use layout, and they use SketchUp to give dimensions to to attach the dimensions and to draw dimensions, for example. And you show us that if you use layout as the paper space, that you can add all this extra information to a model that you draw in the SketchUp model space.
Yeah.
And then you get the mood boards and the collage, like
the measurements.
Yes,
yeah.
everything, all the extra information. I use that also a lot. It's like the coexistence of two aspects of SketchUp and layout. You have to use layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. But I also agree that many people don't know it. So it just gets installed with SketchUp, and you fire up SketchUp, and if you're not reading into what all the possibilities are, you will never come across layout.
Yeah.
Yes, and especially with the new 2021 issue, where you can really adjust the model views inside your layout.
Yeah.
Then it's very, very handy, very practical in use. Yes.
Yeah, it's because of this direct link between the model and working space. So when you change something in your model, immediately it will be changed in your presentation.
And designs always change, right?
Yeah.
It's never right from the start. So going back and forth is really important.
Yeah. But otherwise, you have to make a new scene or a new picture, photograph, whatever, and place it again in your documents.
Yeah.
But for now, you don't have to do this. You can just update your model and it's with a new design in your document. Yeah,
that's true. And I saw some elements in your designs that I think are repetitive. You know, you have the plugs in the wall outlets, for instance. You have some lighting fixtures. Is it something that you have in your own library or that you download on the spot?
Yes, sometimes I download it. I have also a map with all these the objects I like most. I put them in there. But you can also make a library, of course, with in the 3D warehouse.
In the 3D warehouse, yeah. Is that something that you use, the 3D warehouse, Maarten?
Yes, a lot.
A lot?
Yeah. And also in layout you have Scrapbook.
True.
Which is also a library that you can create or adjust. You know, like light fixtures, if you just want the symbol of a light fixture, you can put it in there.
True.
So depending on the project, yes.
It's a 2D warehouse, actually.
It's like a 2D, and you can draw it yourself.
Very
draw
easily.
all the,
Hey, we've got a question from one of the watchers. Marcel van Dame asks if you're ever creating BOMs, bill of materials. So a list of every item that is of importance in your design. Do you do that?
No.
For the contractor, how many materials, screws or whatever?
No, I will just, I will give them technical documents, and then of course they can see for themselves how much material or what they will need. But I think this is really something for the BIM, the BIM program.
So that's maybe a bit later in the process.
Yes.
You're more in the conceptual stage, in the design stage.
Yeah.
And you, Maarten, do you make lists? Items?
Well, with furniture makers, they tend to want to know how much material they need and how they can effectively use larger pieces of material and how to cut them. Sorry?
So nesting shapes.
No. If you buy material by the plate, is that a correct word?
I don't know.
Then you have to make like a design of how to cut all the material from those larger pieces of board, and even send them to a manufacturer to cut those boards for you. And so many interior makers are busy using that, and there are some interesting extensions in SketchUp available to design those.
To make it most efficient.
To make it most efficient, you know, and take into account the direction of the grains of the material that you're using.
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah.
So those people, those design or those interior makers are very interested in that too. Yeah. And that's something that you can do in SketchUp. Yeah.
One thing you can't do in SketchUp is hatching your sections by native, but I saw some hatches in your technical drawings.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Because I use Sculpt, and it's an extension with which you can just assign a certain hatch at a certain group. So in SketchUp, in your SketchUp model, for example, you have a brick wall. It's a group, and you can just assign a certain hatch to it, and then when you're just looking at your model, a 3D model, you don't see this. But when you make a cross section and import it into the layout, then you see this hatch. Cool. So you can just for different materials use different hatches or different colors. It's very easy.
So you use Sculpt.
I use Sculpt, yeah.
Right.
So, because with the normal, in SketchUp you have this feature fill your cross section, but then it's filled with, it's all black or red or whatever color you assign to it, but everything is of the same importance, so you can't see any difference.
True.
So with Sculpt, it's very clear.
Yeah. You mentioned, I think it's called Catalyst or so. There are a number of extensions for bill of materials. So there are a number of extensions. Do you use any other extensions?
Yes, of course. There are some nice extensions that allow you to build stairways, to build window frames. There's a number of them. So you should really look into the extension library and look on the internet and find extensions that are available for you. Some of them are paid and some of them are really free. Yeah. So like the 1001 bit tool, that's very interesting to use.
1001 bit tool.
Yes.
Yeah. So the tip is to go into the extension warehouse and to find any extension that can suit your workflow and speed it up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know a free addition to V-Ray these days is called Cosmos. It's a version of the warehouse, the 3D warehouse with objects, but they are already prepared to render nicely. We saw some pretty nice pictures in your presentation. What extension do you use?
For rendering, I use Podium.
Podium.
Yeah. So, but then you have to wait till your render is finished. So with this new extension, I believe you can just see it at the same
right
time.
Away.
So we're going to watch it. Yeah.
We have a movie prepared about this Cosmos, and Martha will show you how you can in real time add any render-ready object to your scene to make a nice picture in real time. Okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so let's watch it.
Hi everyone. I am Marta Dijkstra, V-Ray expert working for Design Aids. And today I'm going to share a fun tip for all the V-Ray users among you, as well as for people who are considering using V-Ray in the future. Today we're going to take a look at V-Ray Cosmos, which is kind of similar to the 3D warehouse, except that everything that we can find in V-Ray Cosmos is render ready. So I'm going to show you on my screen. I'm going to start up Chaos Cosmos. And right off the bat, we can see all the kinds of stuff that we can download. We can download furniture, accessories, vegetation, lighting, vehicles, and people. And in order to see what it's actually doing, I'm going to fire up V-Ray Vision as well. Now, V-Ray Vision is specifically introduced for V-Ray for SketchUp, and it's a real-time rendering engine. So it's actually a gaming engine. You can actually walk around in it using your gaming controls. And pressing W to walk forward, pressing S to walk backwards, A and D to the side, E and Q to go up and down. And as soon as I click back into SketchUp, it's going to resynchronize my camera. Unless, of course, I don't want it synchronized, then I can choose to unlink my camera. Right, so we're going to download some assets, and we've got an empty room. And we're going to add some furniture. It's going to be a living room, so I'm going to download a couch. And you can see that in SketchUp it downloads a low detailed object, while at the same time in the render we have a high detailed object. Now let's pick the chair that comes with it. I want a pretty rug, and I want a coffee table. Everyone gets to have some coffee or tea. You could drink tea from this mug as well. Let's put a magazine on the table as well. That's fun. Let's put some plants as well. So we're going to go to vegetation and pick the subcategory indoor plants. And let's put this indoor plant right in the corner over there. And let's take this one as well. Alright, so in our render, it's maybe not very obvious, but these plants are pretty low quality still in our render. And we can up the quality by checking on that we want to use high quality Cosmos assets. So we check that on, and in order to actually see the effect of that, we have to restart Vision. So let me close that down for a second and restart. And now we've got the highly detailed version. You can see the leaves are much prettier now. All right. So we have our little tropical rainforest. Let's add some more details. Let's add some art on the wall. Of course, I have used all this time my V-Ray Vision rendering preview, which is useful, but it's not very pretty. It doesn't offer me the high quality experience that we are used from V-Ray itself. So I'm gonna switch off V-Ray Vision, and I'm just gonna fire up an interactive render. Right now we have the middle area, which is quite nicely lit, but the left area is very dark. Maybe we should add some lamps as well. Lighting. A wall lights. And I want to make them brighter. So I'm going to up the intensity for this light source quite a bit. And if you reach the end of the slider, you can always just type if you want more. And then of course I can change my camera settings. You can use the very simple exposure value. Now if you want to tweak it, use your arrow keys, because if you slide it with the mouse, you're going to overshoot your target. I'm happy with that, and I'm going to stop my interactive render. And I'm going to also, for final rendering, I really like to add a light mix render element, which allows you to tweak your lighting after your render is done. And maybe the resolution could be a bit higher as well. Let's put that to 1800 by 4040. And render out. And of course, that's gonna take a while. So let's fast forward that for you guys. Our render is ready, and you can see we've got a beauty. Now let me tell you just a few little more things that we can do with this render now that it is ready. At the right side of our screen, we can double click to expand our layers, and we are getting a Photoshop-like layer structure where we can enable some stuff such as lens effects, where you can see that it works very well with the lamps on the wall. And last but not least, we have the light mix. The light mix enables us to switch off and on, and even change the intensity of lights even after our render is done. So let's disable the dome light, and ta-da, we have a night scene. Just like that. Or maybe we do want a dome light, but less intense. And we can do that. Maybe the lights on the wall are a bit too bright, so we can dim them a little bit. So that's it for today. V-Ray tips and tricks, and see you again soon.
Wow, that was impressive. There's a question from the audience about proxies. Because the question is, you see pretty heavy objects being rendered real time, and in SketchUp they're a bit bloppy. How do you do that? And so the blobs are sort of simple objects in SketchUp, but they are linked to a very detailed object in V-Ray. So we call those proxies. You can create them yourself, but they're also available in the library Cosmos, so that your SketchUp model doesn't drain out, because the first thing that interior designers do is drag all plans of the warehouse, and the model gets too heavy for their machine, and SketchUp dies, and they call us and they say, SketchUp is so slow, what can I do? And proxies are a very nice way of handling that. So that's what you saw here. Maartje, is this something that you could use as an extra in your workflow?
Yeah, I think it's very nice. Very nice plugin, this one. Or is it a plugin? Or
yeah. It's a free extension to plug in V-Ray, which is paid.
Yeah, because you don't have to wait for your render. So yeah, normally you always have to wait.
Yeah.
You're just waiting, finishing, and then yeah. So it's very easy. Yeah, I would definitely consider.
Is this something you could use in your workflow? It really depends, because I'm kind of hesitant, because it gives you the final, it's like a photorealistic end product, and I am always a bit cautious about using photorealistic impressions as a design tool, because I like to design in SketchUp and then hover and orbit around it together with the client, like you do also.
Yeah.
And then the end result is, to me, of less importance. So I see this V-Ray Vision more as a styling tool, styling aid, I think. And I see a lot of dressing the space. And I'm not sure about designing the space, if it helps me to design the space. So presentation purposes, yes. Designing purposes, not sure. Although there's one very important aspect of design, and that's the lighting design. And I can I never used this. It's relatively new. It reminds me of the Enscape workflow, where you can see the end result while you're designing. So I'm thinking that if you're making a lighting design, then this can be very, very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you really get the feel of the lighting in there.
So it serves a different purpose?
Probably, yes.
So you could not use it for every step in your process?
To me, not, no. Because again, I like to use the bare SketchUp to feel the space. And then my clients, when we work together like this, then it's like they get educated in 3D, so they understand the drawing more than that you just present it to them and they have to, oh, what's this? And then, in that case, a photograph-like rendering will really help them. But if you involve them in the design process, they tend to really know what's going on in the space. So you don't need all the in-between renderings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's a different workflow, yeah.
Yeah.
Maartje, I saw you using panoramas, so we call these 360s.
Yeah.
And how is that received by your customers? Do they understand it, or do you do it together with them?
No, I don't do it together. I present this to them as it's a kind of extra, like a little gift. Mostly, this is how it will be in the end. So, but so it's really to present something. But the same as Maarten says, it's not. I don't use it for like when changing or talking together or with the client and changing your model and see what happens. That's not where I use it for. But mostly the clients are very happy. Like, wow, it will be like this. Wow.
Especially the kids, I can imagine.
Yeah,
that
the
it's,
kids.
fun for them.
Yeah. So because now it's really like, oh, it will be like this. That's great. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit spoiled these days. You mentioned Enscape, we saw the real-time rendering in V-Ray. I think everything is moving towards real-time these days, and the times that you have to wait for your render are pretty much over. Yeah. The problem is, of course, the quality. You cannot get the right, well, the most quality out of a real-time render yet, but I'm sure that in the near future that will change. And if I look back at my own experience 20 years ago, I needed to wait a whole night for just a small render to appear. And then in the morning you would jump downstairs to see how it's finished, and it would have crashed, stuff like that. And those images back then were not half as nice as what you get today real time. So that will really... Those worlds will really come together, I guess.
When I looked at Martha, and I imagined myself doing this, I got very distracted by seeing the end product continuously. Because as a designer, I like to schematize, to work from a concept and then work on from that. And then you just don't want to see the end product. It distracts me tremendously.
It's distracting.
Yes. So I really have to get used to this way of looking at your design. Yeah.
So it's not in the sketchy flow or concept.
Basically, that's really why SketchUp is so useful, because normally I use hand sketches also to form an idea and a concept, and then I immediately use SketchUp to get this 3D testing of does it work.
Yeah.
And to me that's almost enough to have these tests. And then this presentation comes in the end to me. Yeah, but I can understand that there are people with a different workflow that look at it differently. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have questions from the audience? Name your favorite extensions in SketchUp that you really cannot live without. Do you want to start, Maartje?
For me it's Sculpt.
sculpt.
Really, yeah, absolutely, because otherwise I couldn't make all these technical drawings. It would be hell. So for me it's definitely sculpt. Yeah.
Sculpt, I can understand. And you, Maarten?
I have a very simple one. I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's very useful, and it's an extension. I think it's called layer on off, because if I add a layer in a design, it immediately shows this layer in every scene that I've created. But with this extension, it does not show the new layer.
Ah, true.
So it doesn't affect the scenes that I already made, and I find it very useful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sounds great. I have
It's
to
very
try
simple
it.
to use. Yeah,
Great tip.
I think it's something like layer on off, and of course now you don't have layers anymore.
They're called tags. They behave somewhat the same,
but it's the
they're
same
called
difference.
tags.
Yeah.
So probably now called tags on off.
Yeah, maybe it's something that you could incorporate in SketchUp. I don't know, just to toggle like a preset that you can toggle if you want a new layer or tag in the scene or not.
Yeah, but that's the main idea, that you could add so many extensions right into the base of SketchUp, but then SketchUp would become, bigger and bigger and less easy to understand. So the philosophy is more that you download the bare SketchUp, and most of us can really start working with that. And then in the process you can add your own extensions later on when you discover them or you have a need for them, and you can make SketchUp exactly do what you want it to do.
Yeah, make it as complicated.
Make it as complicated as possible.
Elaborate as you want. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are at the end of this first interior session, so I want to thank you both very, very much. I have a goodie bag for you. I will not reach out because of the distance, but this bag is filled with all kinds of nice stuff. I think the nicest one is the chocolate. What about the hat?
Great.
That's great, right? The hat, it's great. We have a bottle of wine and the sunglasses. I hope that with SketchUp on them, I hope that we can use them soon, because the sun in the Netherlands is not so much showing the past weeks. But so just for you to thank you for your contribution to this first session of our 3D Cloudcamp. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And now we need to jump into the Kahoot session. I'll have to fire it up here. Let me have a look where it is. Here it is. Okay, so we'll ask 5 questions. You can show my screen now. Go to kahoot.it, and enter this pin that you see on the screen. And let me close my sounds a little bit. Okay. Please, if you enter your name, enter it like your real name, because if you win, we would really like to know who's winning and to send you the prize. So the first prize, if you finish first, you'll get a 1-year license of V-Ray for free. And if you already have V-Ray, you get an extra year, so it's no problem there. Second prize is a license of Podium Browser. We've seen Cosmos. Podium Browser is somewhat the same, but then it's attached to Podium. And the third prize is a license of Skimp. Skimp is also an extension to use, for instance, when you are downloading heavy plans and you want to reduce the number of polygons in these models, you can use Skimp for that. So 1-year license of Skimp, second place, 1-year license of Podium Browser, first place, V-Ray for SketchUp, 1 year. Okay, so I'll see we have more than 30 participants right now. And I think it's, I'll wait a bit more. So go to kahoot.it and enter the pin you see on the screen. You can go on your cell phone, your mobile phone, your smartphone, your laptop, your desktop. Pin is 4620405. Okay. Well, I'll have to close and start. Let's go to the first question. Are we ready? It's excited, right? Okay, so what is Shape's Experience Center? Is it a gym where you can get in shape? I like that answer, but is it the correct one? Or can you buy materials here? Okay, 2 seconds. Okay, and time's up. It's a supplier showroom for different interior materials and products. And 29 people had the correct answer. And it's also a matter of how fast you press the correct answer. So Sully was the fastest and is now leading the leaderboard with 864 points. So let's go to the second question. What's the new object library inside V-Ray called? Is it Comets, Cosmos, Universe, or the Galaxy? 6 seconds. Okay, it's called Chaos Cosmos. Indeed, 34 right answers. Some were off, but let's see who's now leading the leaderboard. Oh, Casper went up. Casper is number 1, Michiel Houben number 2, Richard Beckers number 3. Let's go to the next. Why is Maartje using the Access Check template? It was in her presentation. We talked about it, putting it in a template. Very smart, obviously. But why does she do it? Is it to check if lines and edges are aligned to axis, or if an object is modeled from the origin? It's, of course, to check if the lines are aligned with the axis correctly. Yeah. And the majority has it answered correctly. Michiel Houben is taking the first place. Then we have Casper and Marielle. So it's not only the correct answer, it's also how fast you press the correct button, right? And I think it's the last question. No, the 4 last question. Which render tool does Maartje use? So does she use V-Ray? Is it Thea? Is it Enscape or Podium? Three, 2, 1, and it is Podium, of course, and the majority had it right. A little bit distracted, some they chose the V-Ray, but it's Podium. Okay, now the last question. Before we go to that, Marielle and Maarten and Eskrieken. Well, it's a close call between Marielle and Maarten, so let's go to the final question and see the final result. Okay, so this is a true or false one. It's very quickly. Does Maartje use layout to draw technical details for the contractor? Or does she use something else, or by hand, or doesn't she do it at all? Is it true or false? It's a good question, right? Be quick, be quick. Okay. It was true, so the majority has it right. So let's see who the winner is of the first Kahoot session. Maarten, number 3. You win a license of Skimp and a goodie bag. Eskrieken, number 2. Marielle, congratulations with your first prize in the interior session Kahoot. So all of you three get a goodie bag with this mug with your name on it. So Maarten, you'll have an extra wide mug. And Marielle will send you the V-Ray license for a year. As Krieken, you'll get the Podium browser for a year. And Maarten, you'll get the Skimp for a year. So with this, we'll end this first interior section. Thank you all for watching. After this, I think it's about 15, 20 minutes, we'll start with the second session of today. And it is the last session of today. It's about visualizing your design in SketchUp. And I hope you will be back to watch it. Maartje, Maarten, have a safe trip home. Thank you for your contribution again. And good luck using SketchUp in your workflow.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.